Hello, welcome to today's video. I had to separate this video from the previous one because it was kind of going to be large, but actually it's going to be a continuation somehow because I'll mention some of the things I mentioned earlier. For example, they talked about the rich man disease, which we've already you know seen that it's definitely expensive to treat cancer, you know, anywhere and anyhow. So it's more called the rich man disease. And also, some talk about that it's come from the West. It's Western wall disease. And then I'm like, okay, if that is the Western wall disease, then we took our hands to go pick it up there. Because many of us want to be in the West. Many of us want to live the life of the West. Many of us want to go to school in the West or bring in the even right we even have the Western education for us. A lot of things we want to do, our dressing, our way of life. We want to be like the West. So with the disease, it's also in the West. It's a Western disease, so we've adopted it as well. So it's whichever way we look at it, you know, it's a disease, and I think that we are all going to work at it, no matter what it is. And I'll just mention the fact that it's a disease, just like we have malaria, just like we have diabetes and even hypertension and other diseases, you know. So it's also a disease like that. It has its own, what we had mentioned earlier, you know. Well, I want to talk about a book I read, amongst many had come across, you know, on this journey, and written by a survivor. And that particular survivor is a British woman, definitely a Western woman, and then and a scientist as well. And so she had cancer, but she survived. But in the course of her cancer treatment and all that, the cancer kept on coming back, maybe about 6 times or so, and she was quite worried about it. And in the course of her being worried, she had to really go in to find out what is it to, that why should this thing keep coming back upon all I've done. She's gone through, what any cancer patient will go through, the treatments and all, and then so she had to really go into finding out what can be causing this kind of thing. And well, in the course of that, she also found out that these Chinese people, she also found out that Chinese people, they're not too exposed to it. Maybe except those that either live in the West or they've come from the West and brought in the Western style, and so that's how many of the things this kind of disease comes and gets to their people. But that's about that. Because it's something that they are very natural in their way of living, and maybe that's why she attributed that to that. But she also mentioned the fact that she discovered that milk, the cow milk that we take, has something in it that would not doesn't go well, with us, and it's not something that can be mentioned in her book. It's well explained there, and it might just not be something that will come to light, but basically she has put it in her own book, why humans shouldn't even go for cow milk, and she found that, and in all she wrote about, for me it made sense to me. So on my own, I decided that I was also going to stop, because that's what she did, and that was when she got a solution to her cancer. When she stopped everything dairy, all products, you know, and she says seeing a result, a good one for that matter. And so I just said, okay, I need to just take off dairy from my meal, which I did, and that was also a big struggle, because talk about dairy. Ordinary milk, I'm not really very fired about it, but I'm fired up about ice cream. I'm also fired up about chocolates, I can crave for them. I can crave for them. You won't believe it. I can hide to go and take ice cream or chocolate. I have to watch myself, sincerely. But I have to cut all that off, so that I can be healthy. And then another thing I took from her was talking about the cow milk, the cow itself. The cow itself, definitely, I'm sure I've heard where people say if you're above 50, you need to, cut down on your red meat. And which, I, I took that up, and also that not just the beef itself, every aspect of the cow. I just said that cow off my diet, cow off my diet. That meant a lot. I can imagine, and so I wasn't going to. If anything, I would just say, is there any beef here? I was avoiding it. I had to avoid it deliberately, so I can keep, you know, just from what I learned from her. And also, I I remember my doctor, my oncologist, telling me not to eat anything, any food roasted over charcoal. Things like suya, things like bole, that's roasted plantain, and things like fish, the smoked fish. 'Cause I used to eat smoked fish a lot. So I had to start looking for alternative. Suya, so I won't eat suya again. And sometimes you want to eat suya, and if you get good suya, yeah, you will want to eat more and more. I had to cut suya off, and then I couldn't. I don't just buy it because if everywhere in the market you smoke fish, more charcoal that is used to smoke. So I had to cut that off and now start looking alternative because I know that some people use gas, like more expensive to smoke. Some people use electric to smoke. So I have to start looking for those alternatives. I could do it myself too. If I have the chance. But if I wanted quantity or I was in a hurry, I need to get it. So I have to look for who are those doing that. So that was not an easy thing to do. You have to start looking for. It's not just go to market and just say, are you, is this your fish gas smoked, or is this, start asking questions. Who will answer you? Anyway, I did that, and then I had to cut all those things off. So you can see that it was all deliberate. You have to take those deliberate steps just to keep, you know, and watch what goes in. Even the course of that, and I also visited a nutritionist, who helped me with my diet. So I really adjusted my diet, and also other informations I was getting, like this kind one from this particular book and others, So I just want to modify, my diet and all that so that I can get what will be good that will go into me, and keep me healthy, that's very important, because what goes in that makes you, that's what we also learned. So I had to do that with my own diet, so that I can, live life. So you can see this also costs me a lot, even in my social life, because I have to be sure where am I going to. Is there a place I'll go to and I'll not say, oh, I don't take this, or I can't just, not everywhere you go to that you demand for, your choice. Just give you what they have, you know. So what are you going to do? You not start selecting or start rejecting or start explaining. So actually it reduced a lot of my social life. That's one aspect that, is something that I think I kind of, accepted, you know, to have changes, not only in the diet, yet in my social life as well. And also on the nutrition, definitely, I know that in the course of my storyline, a place for that. I talk more on nutrition and the things that keep me going, what I do. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate this time out. Thank you. Bye.